You got the job, you made the money, maybe you even bought the house, married the guy, and you thought that reaching a certain level of success in life would make you feel happy. But in the quiet moments, when you're really honest with yourself, you realize that you feel unfulfilled, exhausted, burnt out, and you're questioning who you even are anymore. I made this show for you. Hey there, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Light Centered Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Hacking, life and wellness coach, and this podcast is your space for deep conversations and real life integration, all to help you more fully share your unique God-given light with the world. If you're someone who's on a healing journey and knows that they're meant for more, or just someone who wants to find more peace and connection in your life, then you are absolutely in the right place. All right, let's get into it. Hi, friend. Welcome to episode number 1 of the Light Centered Life podcast. My goal for today is to tell you exactly why I created this podcast and how I believe it will truly help you. I'm also going to give you a little bit of my story and how we got here, and then what to expect from weekly episodes moving forward. So 12 years ago, I completely unraveled. I lost my sense of self. I lost my identity. And at the time, I would have given anything to have somebody who had gone through it show me the light and that there was a way out. There are so many things that I have learned along the way, and I want to share all of them with you. Whether you're on a healing journey, rediscovering your true authentic self, or just craving more joy and purpose in your life, this podcast is going to be exactly what you need. So there's 2 things that made my journey a lot harder, which I am determined to change for you. Number 1 is actually finding answers to what was going on with me. This encompasses physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. I went to a lot of doctors, therapists, healers, and many personal development books have been read. And while all of them were helpful on the journey, no one ever wove it all together for me in a way that helped me see it as the whole entire self. And at the core of it, helped me work through the identity work and the acceptance of the self in the way that I understand it now. And that's a big difference in how I view things and in how I coach people. Number 2 is integration. Once I found information, which luckily we have so much more information today than I had 12 years ago, but I struggled to know how to actually take action and integrate the embodied changes that I was learning about. I felt like I always needed a guru or someone to tell me what to do next. And because of this realization, always within my coaching and within my episodes, there will always be integration, and I will always guide you back to yourself and to God. Together, you are the ultimate guru of your life. Okay, so a few things that I believe in deeply and passionately that you will hear from me and that you also will feel in my style of coaching. Number 1 is that you are not broken, and this is not a how to fix yourself show. Number 2, in order to reach a higher level of success or a higher state of being, you have to accept yourself, love yourself, and believe in your wholeness right now. Healing works the same way. Anything that you want to overcome also starts with this. And I'll get more into that as we're coaching or as we're going into different episodes, but this is key. Number 3, daily actions and the rituals that you repeat continually are the things that will change your life. Number 4, the biggest life hack that I can give you is to spend more time in stillness with the Creator and then act on what you hear. Alignment is the key to peace, to clarity, and to purpose. And in today's world, we are way too distracted, and a lot of us are not actually doing this. Number 5, I believe that you know what you need to do and that you already have all of the answers inside of you. We just need to unlock them by helping you get out of your own way. Number 6, I believe deeply that everyone has a purpose and a calling in life, and that we are all meant to do great things and have a big impact on others. The question is if we have the courage to step into it. Number 7, you can't just live in your head. You need to understand what is happening in your mind so that you can take action and make change. Everyone talks about what they want to do. It takes courage to actually be someone who steps up and does it. action is key once you understand what's going on. And number 8, I believe that the whole entire key to happiness in this life, and believe me, I have searched for a long time on this, is not about becoming someone new. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the personal development and self-help world preaches it this way. But I believe the key to happiness is putting down the masks, getting fully aligned with God and yourself, and fully expressing who your soul authentically is and what you came here to do. If you believe that there's more and you've felt this little ping inside of you that you are meant for more than the life that you are currently living, but the noise, the chaos, the conditioning keeps pulling you back under, then you are here for a reason. I'm a millennial mom. I'm in the messy middle of life too, and I get the challenges. I get when you're trying to reach for something more, but you're stuck in the chaos of the right now. We are going to have real, honest conversations about what the hardships in life actually feel like, what the challenges are, and then I will help you expand your way of thinking and expand into your higher self. And then we're always going to integrate it. We're always going to ground back in what is an actionable step that you can take immediately. All right, there's a little bit about what I believe. And next, I'm going to tell you about my story. And the purpose in me telling you this is not to give you every nitty-gritty detail, but to help you understand how I got here and why I'm so passionate about the things that I believe in and why I absolutely love being a coach. And it is because I have been through it. At the core of my story is that I spent the first 35 years of my life thinking, if I'm just enough, if I just achieve enough, if I'm just liked enough, if enough people love me, or if I do enough, then I'll finally feel accepted and I will finally feel okay. And I spent years collecting evidence and seeking that validation outside of myself that never made me feel better. So a lot of this started in my childhood. I was a deeply emotional, deeply feeling, and very spiritual and sensitive soul from the second that I got here. And I felt very misunderstood in childhood and a lot like a fish out of water. I was also painfully tall, which did not help anything. I got teased and bullied all through elementary school and through part of middle school. And I really, really struggled within friendships. And I remember coming home from school and crying in my bed more days than I'd like to remember. I just had a really hard time in childhood. And I learned to be very ashamed of my body because of how big and tall it was. And I also learned to hide my spirituality and what I today believe is like my true self from a young age. And luckily, I got into sports, and when I was in middle school, I found a love for basketball that carried me through middle school, high school, and college, and it really was my saving grace. That became my favorite format for seeking achievement and validation to prove my worth, but it also brought a lot of positive things into my life that I didn't have before, like friendships, confidence, and something to give me purpose and to work towards. And I worked tirelessly in high school and in middle school to get a basketball scholarship. This was basically all I cared about. And you can ask anybody about that time in my life. I played basketball anytime I wasn't in school, unless I was like hanging out with my friends on the weekends. Other than that, I was playing basketball. All of my summers were spent playing competitive basketball. And all I wanted was to play at a D1 school and then eventually to go on to the WNBA, which clearly didn't happen, but it didn't exactly turn out the way that I hoped. And after being disappointed by not getting picked up by the D1 schools that were recruiting me and that I was aiming for, I ended up at a community college and I tore my ACL 30 seconds into my first game. And that whole experience really wrecked me. Basketball was truly my first love and it really broke my heart. And I really believe that that played into what came next, which was me marrying an emotionally unavailable and abusive man way too early in life. And I remember just really hoping that, again, his love would help me feel like enough and that I would feel that validation that I so desperately was seeking. And after 2 years of being married to him, he absolutely wrecked me. And any ounce of confidence that I had left was completely tanked. And by some miracle, there's a whole story to this, but I won't bore you with the details today. But by some miracle and by the grace of God, I truly believe he stepped in and I finally found the courage to leave and get out of that relationship. And luckily, I had a decent redemption story. I met and married the love of my life and my current husband after being married to that first husband. And I also got recruited to go back and play basketball after taking 4 years off, which at the time was like pretty unheard of. And I still can't believe that I was given that gift of being able to go back and play. And that team that I was on was really fun. And we ended up chasing a national championship the 2 years that I was there. And I also ran at the time a thriving beauty business that I loved. I graduated summa cum laude with my business degree. And also, I was newly married, I was in the best shape of my life, and I was serving in a couple of demanding but rewarding callings within my church community, and I had amazing friends surrounding me. And during this time, I was running on fumes, truly, but I finally felt happy, and I hadn't stopped all the striving, but at the time, I felt like the striving had finally paid off. I was finally living a life that felt meaningful and I felt happy and fulfilled. Then after graduation and after years of running on cortisol, caffeine, and averaging 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night, my body sent me the bill. And I was plagued with fatigue, with burnout. I had headaches every single day. My hormones were completely out of whack. And I started gaining weight despite eating clean and training like I always had. And I remember truly being so confused because I used to tell everyone that I handled stress really well. I basically would say things like, I don't even feel stress. And I truly thrived on the adrenaline and on doing so much. And those were my famous last words. I don't even feel it. That created a lot more health problems. I started having panic attacks. I would wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares. And it finally came kind of crashing down after my husband and I were trying to have a baby. And we ended up losing our first baby at 21 weeks. And this was a very tender and dark time for us. And it truly threw me over the deep end. And that is when I started seeking real help. I started to find doctors, healers, anything that could help me feel better. I tried a lot of things. Looking back on it all now, I can see that the striving and the seeking didn't stop. I just added fix my body to the list of everything else that I needed to fix about myself. And that ended up sending me into a free fall. I truly started to unravel after I lost the baby. And I ended up leaving the beauty industry with the main purpose to prioritize my health and see if we could have another baby. And I started a new career in marketing and I started climbing the corporate ladder pretty quickly. And I moved into leadership and I even hit that happy salary that I always thought, once I make this much, I will be happy. And I had amazing benefits and I made great money and I had good people surrounding me, but it was a very stressful job. And there were still a lot of things that I was dealing with that I couldn't explain when it came to my health, both mentally, physically, honestly, all of my health I was still struggling with. And this is when my faith started unraveling. And I just want to make sure that I say that I desperately tried to cling to it. This is not something that I wanted, that I sought out. I remember praying every single Sunday after church and asking God to take this feeling inside me away, to just restore, put the cat back in the bag and restore everything that I had felt before. And this really was a free fall. It was an unraveling. And I just kept believing that if only I could just work a little bit harder or fix myself or pray hard enough that I would finally feel like I was enough and that I would finally find peace. And I'm just going to pause there for a second, apologize for the emotion, but maybe you've experienced something like this: the chasing, the proving, the exhaustion, the trying to earn your way to enough or pray your way to enough, only to end up lying your head down on the pillow at the end of the night and wondering how it is that life got you here and if this is how you were always going to feel. And if you have experienced anything like that, then A, I am so sorry. And B, I hope I can help you, or that we can walk that path back together. Okay, continuing the story. Basically what ended up happening is at the end of a very hard year, I remember looking in the mirror and barely recognizing myself. At the time, I was very overweight. I was exhausted. I was deeply depressed. I was having anxiety attacks, and I was spending a lot of time numbing out and scrolling and binge watching to escape. And I would show up to work and everyone, I think assumed that I was fine, but at home I was actually falling apart. And I was very scared of what my life had become. And I told my husband, I don't even recognize myself. I don't even recognize the person I've become. And I knew something had to truly change. And the realization in all of this story, and when I look back on it, the chasing, the striving, the need to be enough, man, the need to be enough, any high achiever will understand this. It didn't just fail me, it made me sick, it made me stressed, it made me depressed, it made me anxious, not just physically, but it literally made me sick spiritually. Mentally, emotionally, all of it. It was eating me alive. And no amount of seeking out there changed how I felt inside. I finally realized that the more that I tried to fix myself, the further from happiness I became. I had to actually learn to love the person that I was. And all the mistakes, all the pain, all the hardships, I had to accept myself in all of it. And I finally started asking God for something different. I started asking God to help me remember who I am. I realized that nothing external could bring me peace, and that I had to find that within myself and within my relationship with God. Okay, whew. And now the road back from that was not easy. I'm going to be 100% with you, but I am so grateful because it taught me who I am. It also connected me with how God sees me and what I have to offer the world. And everything that I lost or every hardship that I experienced always brought me something even greater. My husband that I have today, my children, and I'm so grateful for both of them because I know how lucky I am to have them. And also my faith. I feel like I have a true relationship with God, and it's mine. It's not because someone told me to believe it. It's not because of something that I did or read. It was because I actually practiced being with God. I am better at trusting my intuition and my discernment, and I am more peaceful, calm, and truly well. I mean, most days. We all have our days, right? But I also left the draining corporate job that was stressing me out to follow my purpose, to live a life full of joy, and to experience personal freedom. And I don't have it all figured out, but I am closer to my true north than I ever have been. And that's what I'm here to also walk you through. Man, that was a lot. Okay, I got unexpectedly emotional during that part, but let's move into what you can expect from weekly episodes and line things up a little bit. First of all, most of them are going to be you and me going deep, having real talk coaching. And sometimes I will bring on a brilliant guest to go deeper into certain topics, but a lot of times it'll just be me. And the topics are going to be basically everything that we experience in life. The things we all struggle with, relationships, self-doubt, stress, a lot of the things that I've talked about overcoming when it comes to wellness and healing and spirituality and finding purpose and living from your inner light. That is the goal of all of this, is to bring out that light within you and help you live a life that you're obsessed with, but also to radiate. And each of the weekly episodes will have 3 parts. The first one is going to be us really digging in to the experience and feeling what it is that the topic is related to. Okay, so we're really going to get deep into that and feel it fully and explore it fully. And then we're going to shift into how to rethink this, how to approach this from the viewpoint of your higher self, how to elevate essentially, and so that you can move through these things. And then every single episode, I'm going to ground you back into action and integration and give you a takeaway of something that you can do literally that day to start integrating. I'll also be dropping weekly journal prompts related to the topic. Sometimes I'll have tools that you can use, something you can start using immediately. And this is because I don't want you to just consume information. There's a ton of information out there on the internet. This is not about information. It's about becoming very aware of how you feel and why things are so difficult, and getting you to shift that and then getting you to take action. That will be the purpose of the whole entire podcast. This is how I coach all of my clients, and you will be getting my very best every week, just like I give to all of them. And I reserve the right to every once in a while just have a deep topics sort of podcast where I have no structure and talk about things that are coming up. Maybe with clients or things for myself that I just want to really get into. So those ones will feel a little bit more like deep conversations, girl chats, unedited, me just putting out there my thoughts when I feel called to do that. All right, so this is your final invitation. This show is for the woman who knows that she has more to give the world. She's done just thinking about it and is ready to integrate, is ready to step into that higher version, and just wants to feel more peace and joy and purpose in her life. Follow along, subscribe, and go grab your first set of takeaways in the show notes. And let's do this thing called life together. I'm so glad that you're on this journey with me. Thank you so much for tuning into the Light Centered Podcast. If this episode lit something up inside you, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with a friend who might need the message today. If you're looking for more support on the journey of stepping into the most authentic version of you, you can find the links to all of this in the show notes below. And finally, never underestimate the impact that you can have on the world when you live from a space that is centered in the light that you were always meant to share. I'll see you next week.